And we're recording. Welcome to the first BMC Recruiting Blab. I am joined today with Kevin Garabedian, who is the Area Vice President of Inside Sales for BMC, as well as Elizabeth Keene and Taylor Smith, not Taylor Swift, both business development reps also here at BMC. So today we're going to have a couple recruiters come on afterwards. We've got Michelle Snethkamp, Senior Recruiter, and Amy Estrada, Senior Manager of Recruiting as well. So we're all here today to really answer questions that you guys have about inside sales at BMC. How's it different? What's the culture like? How exciting is it? And really, what's the career progression like starting as a business development rep, a BDR? So let's roll right into it. Kevin, how did you hear about BMC? Why did you join BMC? And tell us about your past year.
Sure. So I've been working within inside sales organizations for the last 20 years. And about a year and a couple months ago, I sat down with some of the executive team at BMC. And, I looked at BMC, and I knew about the company. I actually worked at BMC once before. And I recognized that BMC is an incredible position right now where the world is shifting to this digital enterprise. IT organizations have to evolve if they want to stay competitive. And I knew BMC had world-class products, world-class people, and I really wanted to jump on board this fast-moving train and be part of this growth that BMC is experiencing over the past couple of years. It's been pretty awesome so far.
Great.
Specific to the role, though, one of the other reasons why I joined BMC is working within inside sales environments for the last, like I mentioned, a couple of decades, not to age myself too much here. But I realized that inside sales can be an incredibly strong component of growth. And BMC has a huge focus right now on massive growth. We're a privately held company. There's a lot of changes going on. And to really affect that change, a well-oiled machine like we are building here at BMC from an inside sales component is a huge part of that growth. And I knew that if we could work together as an organization and build this engine, we could really affect change here at BMC. And the reps that we've had on board and the managers that we've had on board have been a big part of that as well. So I really wanted to take part of this organization to help BMC get to where they want to go.
Awesome. Great. I did want to add, by the way, if anyone's watching, if you have a question, put /Q and insert your question, and the questions will appear on the left panel over here, and we will get to them as well. So sorry about that. But great. Thanks for sharing, Kevin. And you talked about ISD, the inside sales. Inside. What does that stand for?
Inside sales department.
Okay. Why is BMC valuing and investing ISD so much?
Well, I think that there's a couple of reasons for that. Companies, whether you're a mid-market size company or a multi-billion-dollar company, if you're not evaluating your IT organization and asking the question, are we as innovative and as effective as we can be, then you're losing competitive advantage. And there's several ways to get that message out, through marketing, through just word of mouth. But one incredibly fast-growing way to do that today is through an inside sales department. Inside sales is growing by about 300% year over year. There is an incredible growth with all the social media, all the Web 2.0 aspects of how you can utilize an inside sales organization today. It's mainstream in most extremely competitive companies. And that's why I think it's extremely important that BMC continues to evolve this organization. It's a little self-serving to say that, but at the same time, getting that word out and getting companies to understand what we can do and how we can impact them from digitizing their enterprise, again, whether they're mid-market or large companies, is so important. And I have an unbelievably trained and a real effective organization that does an incredible job working with companies very consultatively, explaining to them, what does this mean? What does it mean for them? And how can they utilize BMC to help them get to where they want to get to? So this engine that we've built with these incredible people is a great way for companies to understand what BMC can do for them. And it's growing. It's becoming a big part of our growth here at this company.
Okay, great. Let me open that up a little bit. And Elizabeth and Taylor, what inspired you to join BMC? How did you hear about BMC? What are your impressions?
I heard about BMC. My brother-in-law has been with the company for about 8 years now. So I know what a success he'd had there. I was looking at going into sales out of college, like pretty early out of college, and talked to a few different companies in a few different areas. And the more I talked to Devin, the more I was interested. He's had great experiences. They've sent him Hawaii, Vegas. He moved to New York for a few years. He's been very successful, more so than most people in his age range. So I knew it was a great opportunity as long as I could get in there and, do the work and do what was needed of me, that I would do well at BMC. So when I was given the opportunity, I jumped at it.
And I'd say from my perspective, I didn't know anyone who worked at BMC, but the way I found the job was through social media. I found it on LinkedIn, and kind of just shows you that it's a testament to utilizing those types of resources and where you can kind of really get in with a great company. And I was brought on team by John Gainey with the LDRs. So just kind of different ways, either by word of mouth or just through utilizing various other resources.
Cool. What's kind of the day-to-day of a BDR? What do you guys do?
So I think it really depends on the person. The great thing about the BDR role is you have a lot of that flexibility and freedom dependent on, so you can kind of schedule based on the priorities of your accounts. You're given specific accounts that you work on within your territory. You have that responsibility and accountability, if you will, and just schedule out your day as it is, dependent on what meetings you have, what kind of targets you're working on, what campaigns, what priorities you might have from that perspective. So I think that's one of the really great things I like about the day-to-day. I came from the LDR role in the ISD group here, and it's very differently structured. Both Taylor and I have that perspective that you've got a little bit more structure, versus in the BDR role, you kind of have that, you really have to take control of your own business, if you will, which is a great way to develop yourself from a career perspective as well. So.
Yeah, I would agree. I came over from the lead development team as well, which was a great starting point because I got to cover all different product lines and just learn the products and not focus as much on structuring my whole day. It was almost done for me. I had hot leads coming in constantly. As I transitioned to the BDR role, which has been very recent, just the beginning of this month, you have more autonomy. It's kind of up to you. How do you want to run your day? You pick the people you're calling. You have a more targeted approach, but more of the responsibility falls on the job too. The job falls on you because you don't have those leads coming in that these people want to talk to you. You're trying to generate it on your own. So it's a busy day. It's also very fun to kind of put that puzzle together and strategize and come up with things both on your own and with people in the office, whether it be managers or Elizabeth or people on other teams. It keeps you busy and makes the day go fast. It's nice.
Okay, great. Awesome. Yeah, it sounds pretty exciting.
Eric,
a lot of people.
Yes. If I could interject, because I think that these guys brought out some acronyms. What I'd like to do is give kind of an explanation of what inside sales really is made up of. I think folks just heard LDR, BDR. I think it's important for them to understand what that means. What is ISD here at BMC, I guess? So I just want to make sure that for the folks listening, they understand what it is when we say inside sales. There's really three components. Elizabeth had mentioned and Taylor mentioned LDR. We have a fantastic marketing engine, brings in leads, obviously, and we have a group of people here dedicated to those leads to make sure that they get called, we answer their questions, we understand what it is they're looking for, and if it's something that we can move forward with, we accelerate them into a sales cycle. We also have, and you heard BDR, that's business development reps, and both Elizabeth and Taylor represent that organization. This role is a little more consultative, proactive, reaching out to customers and net new potential customers to get them to understand what it means to digitize your enterprise. What is that value that you're going to get if you were to work with BMC? What are some of the things we can do for you to make you much more competitive against other companies out there? And that organization also feeds things to what we call an inside sales selling organization. So we have ISRs that are, they're going to do some proactive work to find opportunities, but they're also going to take them through the sales cycle and close them. And the one great thing I think about this organization, how we've set it up, and it was really on purpose, was it covers a lot of experience levels. So whether you're somebody who's just graduating from college or whether you're somebody that has 10 years of sales experience, there's opportunities here within ISD that meet that type of experience level. More importantly, though, it creates an incredible opportunity for career growth. So we do have an organization now where if you come in from college, or even 1 or 2 years removed from college, and you want to start either a new complete career, whether you're in something completely different and you want to get into software sales, or if you had some experience in software sales and you want to come over to BMC, whatever the case may be, there is an incredible path you can take, whether it's within ISD or it's to get experience to get outside to the field and do something different. So there's a lot of different avenues you can take within this organization, but I wanted to make sure that people out there understood what ISD really was, and those are the 3 components.
Okay, awesome, great. Thanks for explaining that. And so we talked a little about what you guys do, what all the different acronyms are. A lot of times people kind of think that it's all about cold calling and punching the phone real hard. How does that myth play out with BMC and how we do things?
I would say that, yeah, calling definitely is an important part of it. Kevin will tell you and us that anytime you let him. It's definitely important, but I think being targeted with the messaging, emails, who you're reaching out to is more important. You can't just blindly call a company of 10,000 people and expect to randomly get the right person speaking with you. So the strategy behind it, there's more than just hitting buttons up. But that being said, yeah, dialing is definitely important. Letting people know that there's a warm body on the other end of that line and that you're not just getting an automated process or content being sent to you, I think is very important. But it's not the only thing.
And I mean, I'd second that from what Kevin said as well, just being, especially in the BDR role, being very proactive and consultative, just being able to go and target those people that are really catered to the campaign you're running. So
you get to really dive in and figure out what these people need and how BMC solutions can really help solve that, right?
Right. Different departments, different teams at the same company or organization are going to have different needs, different tool sets. So even within my single product pillar of data center automation and cloud, there are vastly different groups of people that I target who have different needs. So yeah, there's a lot of strategy behind it. And part of the job, kind of the part that I'm in with the BDR role now, is learning that strategy. I came over from lead development where I was calling people at a warm interest or hot interest, and this is very different where I'm trying to find those people myself.
Okay, awesome.
And Eric, one thing to layer on that too is if you go Google cold call, you're going to find an article that says cold calling is dead somewhere within that search. And we really believe that. I think there's too many organizations today that still haven't evolved. Their management team is cracking the whip on call counts, and there's a minimum call count you have to achieve on a day-to-day basis. And I think that was good in 1980, but I think now that we're in 2016, it really is taking advantage of the technologies out there we utilize, and we've had a massive investment from BMC into this organization, utilizing various tools to help us become very competitive. We utilize InsideSales.com, and we have several other tools that we're taking advantage of. And we take advantage of those tools because we want to really understand who we're talking to. And each and every time we do pick up the phone, it's with a very specific strategy in mind. So it's a very consultative call. It's not just a cold call. So when we look at our metrics, we're looking at conversations and we're looking at what our results are through our efforts. We utilize email. So it's a very consultative, and the way I look at it is it drives results, the way that we manage this organization, but it also prepares these guys and women that work for us for the field. So they're getting a lot of training by understanding how to do research, understanding accounts, understanding the customers that they're talking to, and then they're getting great training and understanding how to position BMC software. So when they do move to the field, if that's what they want to do next, they're going to be one step further along than if they went to the field initially.
Awesome. And that kind of rolls a little bit into what our first question is here on the side. What 3 words would you use to describe the BMC culture? But I would append to that as well. What's the culture in Cary like? That, if you get a sense of how that might be different from the corporate culture in general.
Well, I'll take a shot at it. I'd love to hear from Taylor and Elizabeth on this one too, but I can speak from a high level. They can speak from in the reality level. But I think that the culture here, it's hard to say how it differs from BMC because we are not in Houston. We're in Cary, North Carolina. However, one of the reasons why I got real excited about taking on this opportunity to come here a little over a year ago was it really is like working for a startup company. Inside Sales has been part of BMC. We just fundamentally changed our approach and how we're going to utilize BMC. There was a very new investment from BMC into Inside Sales. So it was here, but it really wasn't part of it, the mainstream BMC strategy. Now that it is, it was an opportunity to come into a startup type of organization. And I think here in Cary, that's really how we look at it. We have a $3 billion company behind us, but when we come in every work today, we can change and evolve pretty rapidly, like a startup could. I try to create that kind of atmosphere here, where we have very casual days every day. It's no longer a contest now; it's just part of our mainstream every day. And I think we have a lot of fun. I think the folks, and again, Elizabeth and Taylor can speak to this, but we try to keep this a very fun, exciting environment and innovative. We try every day to come up with different ways of making ourselves better. We put a lot of time and energy investing in our people and making sure that we're giving them the best training, not just for the role that they're currently in, but for whatever the next role may be. But it's a very enjoyable environment, a very fast-moving environment, and we enjoy getting out and having a few cocktails every now and again as well. So that's a big part of our culture.
I would agree with Kevin. I mean, you can see the basketball hoop behind me. It is a fun place to work. But also one thing he does with the innovation you're saying and investing in the people, Kevin has an advisory board. It's something he started when he started with BMC. And he pulls in different people from the BDR organization and the lead development organization to get a pulse for what's going on the floor, what we can change, how the different changes he's made have affected us, if there's anything we like, things we dislike. So he really makes it a point to understand how we feel about it and checks with them. And I've really enjoyed that. It's been helpful. Elizabeth and I have both sat on that board at least at different times. I've transitioned roles, so my position has been filled by someone else, but it has been a great place to work, and Kevin is a very fun VP to work for.
I mean, I second all the things they've said. I think the other aspect that's great is the collaborative atmosphere that, even if you're working on different teams, whether it be the LDR team, the BDR team, the ISR team, a lot of acronyms there, but everyone kind of works together and is all trying to help each other, whether it be in a specific deal or just in general personal career development. I think that's a really great aspect about the culture here. And, it doesn't just end in the work day. We have happy hours. Kevin has one, I think, once a month. Is that minimum? So things like that outside of the office where you get to kind of interact with your coworkers in a non-professional setting, just get to know each other. And there's all kinds of stuff like that really help with the culture aspect, that it doesn't feel like just going in and putting in your hours. So, yep.
Absolutely.
What about Cary in general? I mean, there's a few different folks, I think, that might be considering moving out there. Like, how would you describe Cary in the area and overall?
I'd say one of the good things about this area is that you have options. I know that, so our office is based in Cary, but for those of you that are unfamiliar with the area, it's about 15, 20-minute drive from downtown Raleigh. So you have those two areas where you can kind of choose where you want to live and do like hang out and all that. So I think it's good that you have that flexibility. You can either live close to work. It's a little bit more of a relaxed area, I'd say, Cary. Whereas if you want to go out, there's probably a brewery opening every weekend in the Raleigh area. So you've got a lot of things to do and activities in a very, very young culture and atmosphere in Raleigh. So it's nice that you've got that diversity. So that's kind of what I'd say about that, Taylor.
I would agree. The office is kind of split for people who live directly in Cary and then in Raleigh. They're not that far away. We all make it into work in the morning, but it's very easy. You can, I mean, from my apartment, I can hop a cab to downtown Raleigh in less than 10 minutes. I can be in the office in less than 10 minutes. So it's very convenient. It's a nice place to live. There's a lot going on down there, but we're also right in the center of the state. So if you want to get to Virginia, if you want to get to the beach, the mountains, anywhere, you can do it pretty quickly. This is my first experience living in the area. I've been here about 1.5 years now. It's really nice.
And a different perspective too is the growing economy here in Raleigh, the Raleigh-Durham area. If you look at Forbes and you look at all different types of business magazines when it comes to analyzing fast-growing cities and areas, the Cary-Raleigh area comes up in the top 10 quite often. So this is an incredibly fast-growing market for all different industries, but specific to software, certainly that's one of them. That's a great aspect of what's happening down here. Cost of living is also a big aspect for those that are in high cost of living areas looking to reduce costs a little bit. The cost of living down here has been substantially lessened for me. I'm from Boston. So outside of my New England Patriots, who I miss dearly, I do love it down here. And it is a good place to raise a family for those that are listening or will listen to this that have family. One thing I learned having my own family is it's an incredible place. The school systems here in the Cary area are all the public school systems are all incredibly strong, highly ranked, highly reviewed against the standard in the country, as well as, again, as I mentioned, to get a decent sized house in a nice area, quite better from a cost perspective than some of the major cities out there. So that's if you're looking for a really fast growing economy in a low cost market, I do think that this is a great choice.
Great. We've got one more question over here on the side with Patrick. By the way, if you are just joining us, use /Q to add to the question queue. What do you look for in new sales and BD hires? Kevin.
So it's a great question, Patrick. Thank you for asking that. We're looking for some really key attributes when we bring somebody in. There's several, just to name a couple. We're looking for somebody that's very coachable. We recognize that when we bring people in to interview, a lot of times they're not going to have 5, 10, 15 years of practical sales experience doing exactly what we're going to ask them to do. That's just not part of that role. We're bringing in people that, if they have that experience, that's excellent. But if they don't have experience, we still want them to consider BMC. Many folks that have come here from various backgrounds that aren't related to software sales. So when we interview them, we want to try to get a feeling for, are they very coachable? I have excellent managers who have got a vast experience at coaching and teaching and mentoring and evolving people to be extremely good at this role. So if somebody can listen and execute what they learn, they're an excellent candidate. We're looking for somebody who has high energy, and high energy can come in all different ways. We're not looking for somebody that is going to be at these happy hours, doing cartwheels up and down the hallways. We're looking for somebody that can really be energized and passionate about what they do. It's a tough job. I did inside sales for about 5 years before I became a manager, and I can look back in my career and say that was the hardest job I've ever had. So you got to really be passionate, come in every day with that enthusiasm. So we're trying to understand when we interview somebody, do they have that excitement, that innate passion to be successful? So there's probably the top 2 things we're looking for when we bring somebody in, outside of the obvious experience. But sometimes that experience just won't be there, but that's okay.
Great. Any last thoughts or ideas? I think we're going to pivot slightly and chat with some of our recruiters as well.
No, I would like to say BMC is a great place to work, really diverse work group. There are people fresh out of college all the way up in age, family people, young people, all sorts of different kinds. It's a really nice place to work, and Cary is a great place to live.
Up in age is like a very politically correct way of putting that. So
it rotates. I didn't name numbers.
All right, we're going to chat with our recruiters a little bit. We're going to have all these folks here. If you have any questions, So we're going to have on here Michelle, who is a senior recruiter out of Austin, and also Amy, who is the senior manager of recruiting here in Houston as well. So,
hello.
Hi.
Hey, welcome. First of all, how many roles are we looking at filling? I know this is a high growth area for BMC. What does that look like in the next couple weeks, couple months?
So we're actually in Q4 right now. So we've got about 6 to 7 positions open now. But I know in Q1, which starts April 1st, we're going to have several more opening up. So quite a lot. And just because it's such a great opportunity to start your software sales career, we're always hiring for the business development. So it's a great opportunity.
Awesome. What's the application process like? Like how long of a process is that? What do you need to fill out?
So I would probably suggest to go online, look at the open job postings that we have, see what interests you, and apply. And then also, we've got recruiters that are looking at all the applications on a daily basis. So we will review all the applications and reach out to you. It's a pretty simple process. Just apply and we'll give you a call.
And I think one of the great things too, because this is a role, to us, this is the base and the foundation of being a successful salesperson at BMC. So one of the great things that this recruiting team does is they really establish that long-term relationship. So if there's a role now and as a candidate, for whatever reason, you don't get this particular role, they're really good at maintaining the relationship and maintaining the communication. The reality is that we've had candidates that maybe have started the process 6 months before, have gone on to another role and then have come back to BMC because we have been able to maintain those relationships. And if it's a right fit, then definitely it'll happen.
We do have a question over here on the side from Patrick. I currently work in Ireland and Boston. Are you hiring in Ireland? Now you have a Dublin-based group as well. Can we talk about that? Ireland
and Boston. That's pretty cool. Absolutely. So we have what I would consider two really main hubs. We have our main EMEA hub, which is in Dublin, and then the one here in North America, which is in Cary. Process, I think, essentially would be the same, but your recruiter would be a little bit different. Carl LeBeau is our recruiter based out of Dublin, so that would be the individual that you would work with. But I think same process in that there's a lot of opportunity. One of the great things that BMC has done is they have really invested in the ISD organization. They have grown by leaps and bounds, and they will continue to grow by leaps and bounds in both EMEA and in North America. So absolutely, come on.
And to just add to Amy was saying too, not to leave out 2 other hubs, just in case, because this is worldwide, this web thing. We have an office in Singapore as well that we're hiring ISD reps in, as well as Buenos Aires, where we're constantly recruiting and hiring there as well. So if anybody are in those locations or wish to go to those locations, those are options as well.
That just made me think of another question, Kevin. Do you have bilingual folks on your team? How much of an area do you cover just from Cary?
As far as on my team, we don't. We have one person that we actually are just about to hire, who is French Canadian to cover the Montreal, Quebec area. So we're happy to have that person join. But outside of that, within the North American team, unless you call speaking as though you're from Boston a different language, which sometimes it can be construed that way. But outside of that, no, we don't have any bilingual people in North America. However, when you go to Dublin, it's, I don't know what the word is. Bilingual is not one of them because it's German, Spanish.
Multilingual.
Multilingual, yep. There you go. So it's very diverse in Dublin. I'm sure the same thing and then Portuguese and Spanish in Buenos Aires. We're looking for.
I have to laugh because I just saw Patrick's comment. Did you see that, Kevin? Go Pats.
Go Pats.
He's hired.
Shortest interview process ever.
There you go.
All right. I think we're pretty much wrapping up a little bit here. I mean, go to bmc.com/careers, search for business development or inside sales, and you can find most of these positions that we're talking about. Does anyone have any other last comments or questions that we can answer? Give you a little bit to submit that in the chat window here, or any closing comments from you guys.
I would just like to say that, we do have a lot of positions open, and, if you have more questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly and also apply online for any roles that are of interest to you. It's a great place to work.
Yeah,
and the organization is awesome.
I absolutely agree with Michelle. I think one of the cool things, and you may or may not have seen a lot of it here in this call, but they have a lot of fun in Cary. It is a blast. I've had the opportunity to go out to the office. I'm based here in Houston, but I've gone out to Cary, and the buzz and the camaraderie that they have, I think, is not only phenomenal, but they carry that along with them. So when they become field reps and they're all over the country and they're working for BMC, they continue to stay in contact and they pass each other leads, and it's a really cool environment to work in. So looking forward to hearing from some folks and hopefully adding to the teams.
Great.
Yeah, and I just think if anybody wants to join a fast-growing company that is backed by Bain Capital, which is an incredibly successful organization, and join a team we're at the very top of the glacier of what we can do from an ISD standpoint. So anybody that joins this ISD organization tomorrow is still at the beginning of massive growth that they could take advantage of and grow within. So it's a great time for somebody to join this organization as we look at the future that looks very bright. So if anybody is interested in either restarting a new career or evolving their current career within software sales, I think this is a good place to investigate.
Great. Sounds good. Sounds like a great opportunity. Sounds like there's, lots of different positions that we have open. It's a worldwide opportunity. It's a great way to get your foot in the door. There's a good culture. Sounds like it's a kind of a win-win all around. So I want to thank you guys all for joining me, as well as Elizabeth and Taylor. And hopefully we'll continue to do these into the future. So let us know if you have any questions. Feel free to reach out on Twitter at BMC Talent, or to apply, go to bmc.com/careers and search for business development or inside sales. Thanks so much for joining us today, and let us know if you have any questions.